Hello and welcome back to the Magic Kathi show. Gosh, I feel like I'm on a roll now with episodes, which feels amazing, and I'm excited to share. A huge reason for that is obviously also your amazing feedback and just loving words for the last few episodes and for the podcast being back and more recent and frequently. So thank you all for that, because as I said, the energy you give back is arriving in my field and giving me more excitement and energy to share all the things with you that I'm processing myself, honestly, with all of the wildness. And today I want to invite you to a new perception and perspective that I've been really digesting and integrating into my cells and my system over, really the last weeks, but very strongly since Pluto is back in Aquarius, and also with that Pluto-Mercury conjunction, which is very personal to me too, because not only was it a Pluto-Mercury conjunction, which has so much to do with transforming our mind and our mental programs, as I said in the last episode, but for me, on a personal level, Pluto in Aquarius means Pluto entered my third house in whole sign astrology. And that is obviously the mind as well. So I knew that this shift into Pluto Aquarius energies would do a lot to my mind and my mental, I want to say, programs, my mental structuring, all of that. And so I've been really having so many downloads. I don't even know where to start. I really pray that this Pluto in Aquarius also helps me to release all the things that I'm writing about. And I know I've been saying that I'm going to publish books at some point, and I will probably, but divine timing, Maybe I will just share them all together and it will be like a, 11 book series or something. Anyways, that's a whole nother subject. But today I really wanted to dive into the transformative power that we have with Pluto, Mercury, Pluto, Venus, and Pluto, Mars this month. But then essentially on a quantum level, moving forward with Pluto in Aquarius, there's just so much potential for us to really open our cells and our mind to a whole new perception of life on Earth and in general. Like, what is this life even about? And so that's going to be the topic today. I invite you to just explore options again, because I'm never saying that what I'm sharing is the ultimate truth. You can just feel what it does to your cells, right? How it resonates in your body, how your vibration is reacting with it, if it goes in synergy or in resonance, or if you feel like, maybe I have to sit with that, or maybe it doesn't agree with you at all, and that's totally fine too. I'm just sharing a perception and a perspective of life on Earth. And that's the key here for all of us to remember why we came here, right? Many of us want to know, like, why did I even come here? Like, what's the point of me being here? Like, why? What's happening, right? What's my purpose? Like, all of the things. And this morning in my meditation, I was like clearly shown how funny it actually is, or how creation works and our purpose. It's really just that, that's at least what I've been shown and what I felt very deeply and strongly. And a glimpse of it I already shared in my last episode, that every single day we come here and visit. Literally. We make it seem like, it feels, because we forgot how it actually works. So it feels like we incarnate into this life and we have this story, and it's also heavy and it's also dense and like set in stone and all of the things, right? But really, every single morning, we just come here and explore another perception, another perspective. Somehow of the same character, but still, we have to witness and recognize and open ourselves up to that potential that we may play the same character, But this character and role that we play in this dimension right now can have many different viewpoints. Okay? So just imagine you play the same role, right? You play the same role, and you are at the party. Let's just come up with analogies. You're at the party, you play the same role, right? That's your role. But it's your choice at the end of the day in which area of the room you stand. You can stay stuck in that one place, and that's literally the only perception that you have and the only thing you see, or you can choose to move around, change your perception, change, the topics you talk about, change the people you interact in the room with, all of that, right? So just because you arrived at some point at the party and have been placed in the one corner doesn't mean you have to stay and remain in the corner, right? The corner was not your destiny. It was just your starting point. And so it's important for us to witness that, because if we can see ourselves as, and I always keep coming back to that analogy, we are kind of like, like scientists in a lab room that study energy here in these physical bodies just so we can give feedback to the source. That's what I keep coming back with. So it's like, okay, every single day my energy, my consciousness, the energy of my entire being decides to visit a certain viewpoint to collect some data of how it feels, how the day went. It's like giving feedback. When you and your partner, you spend all day navigating and managing and your business, and in the end you sit down, have dinner, and talk about how your day was. That's how I see. Like every time I sit back in meditation, I'm like, okay, look, that's the feedback of today. This felt good. This felt shitty. This resonated like that. That's what I discovered right here. Then I had an epiphany there, and that's what I realized. Right? And you just get feedback to the source that created this entire journey for you. And every single day, if we can see our life like that, I feel like at least to me, it helps me to detach from the drama that is unfolding and that we sometimes have to navigate a lot more, because it's like, okay, I'm collecting data again. And right now I'm definitely collecting data here that this does not feel very good in my cells, right? Because that's also, when we speak about true tantric experiences, it has nothing to do with sex. It's more like being very intimate and present, like really present with the experience. Because if we see that creation only wants to have experiences, certain viewpoints, and only wants to explore as many viewpoints as possible through you, but then also through every single other human being, it's important that we have as many experiences as possible. And that's literally the goal of life, and to learn as much as possible from every single experience. Because if we can learn the lesson in that one experience, we don't have to repeat the same experience in different scenarios multiple times, which can feel like repetitive patterns that we can't break through, right? But it's really not that we can't break through these repetitive patterns. We haven't just allowed ourselves to be really present with that one experience where we wanted to learn something really significant, right? And so the more present we can be with any spectrum of emotion, trigger, experience essentially that happens, the less likely it is that it will happen again and then again and again, and we feel out of control in it. It's more like, okay, I needed to learn that lesson. I needed to explore that viewpoint. I needed to be in this side of the corner, right? Because I wanted to be in that side of the corner. But if I constantly have resistance towards going to the corner, well, then maybe people will literally push and drag you there. And you feel like, oh my gosh, it wasn't my choice. Well, you had the option before, but you didn't go there. So something needed to happen. So you are being pushed there, not because it's your destiny, but because creation wanted to view the room from that corner and you didn't go there. So, intervention, I guess. And yeah, I just wanted to share that possibility with you, because just if you I know it seems so solid and so like every single day, like nothing is changing. There are many things are changing, but then why does my external world look the same all the time? Why am I looking the same all the time? It's not possible. That's all the mind telling you that for that reason, it's not possible that you're actually waking up in a different body every single day, right? And that you actually every single day have the option and opportunity to step into a new viewpoint, right? It's almost like you get the option to play the same character, but with a different viewpoint. So every single day you can actually help your character or the person that you are to see life in a different way, right? And essentially, isn't that what all of us spiritual people are doing to others anyways, all the time? When I share the podcast or when I have sessions with you, all I do really is to clear the limited framework and perception that you have and open yourselves to a new viewpoint of life. And every single thing that we see in art, in music, in poetry, in sharing quotes, and any of that, right? In reading books, it's opening our perception to a new viewpoint and ability to view life in a different way, right? That's what we do to each other all the time. But what if you can do that to yourself every single day, every single morning? Let me just step into the same character, but from a different viewpoint. So why do I have this story with my character of always having these relationships, like issues, let's just say, right? What if there is a version out there with the same character that doesn't have these issues? It's not even something that the person identifies with anymore. It's not in their viewpoint, right? Not in their aura, not in their field anymore. Because at any single given moment, there is this version out there. When we speak about miraculous healing, right? Healing from cancer, what's really happening here? That person woke up in a different body, in a different framework, in a different timeline, in a different perception of themselves, where that story was not even on their mind, right? Literally not even on their mind. Because the problems that we have and literally recreate ourselves is just a byproduct of the mind. Because yesterday we had that problem, we think we have it today as well, right? But what if reality changed? What if what yesterday was a problem doesn't have to be a problem today anymore? Right? What if that was just story and learning experience that needed to happen yesterday? And if you gave feedback to the source that created it, you don't have to have it today. That's how sometimes things just shift and you're like, how all of this sudden it's just gone, right? And sometimes, I even witnessed that with people. Like they'd literally fall off the earth plane in my life. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? It's like that person doesn't even exist anymore. Because your subconscious is creating everything. And these mirrors sometimes need to be created so you have that reflection that you need in the moment, on that day, in that time period of your life. But once the learning experience is over, right? Once you had enough data about that situation, it can literally happen that people just fall off the earth plane. Like they don't even exist. And it's not that you're going crazy, it's how creation works. If you see everything as I'm creating my reality to learn and to explore different options and experiences all the time, right? It's also how you can, quote unquote, solve your problems. It's okay. What inside of me is triggering that experience or is creating this experience? What am I learning here? I keep saying that, like, you have to ask yourself, what am I learning here? What's the experience that wants to move through me, right? What's the feedback that I want to give to the source about this experience? And once you've done that, you are in a way free from that situation. You're free from this option of how reality could feel like, right? Because you've had that experience. And there's no point in creation where we need to repeat something that we've already learned, right? Creation doesn't need to be redundant, literally. That's why it's not in alignment with even the purpose of creation and this dimension, that each and every single one of us does the same thing, right? Runs in the same way, right? It doesn't even make sense. We don't need duplicates here, right? It's very Aquarian too. Like, there's no point in creation why we would need duplicates. Like, why would we? It's literally a waste of energy. That's why most people that live, well, like all people, I want to say, that live a life according to other people and literally repeat what other people do, they are miserable. They are unhappy, because that's not the point why they were created. They weren't created to be copycats, right? We don't need a duplicate here, because we need unique experiences. Source wants to have unique individual experiences. That's the whole reason of splitting apart, right? Why did we incarnate? Why did we become separate human beings? Which is an illusion, because we are obviously not separate. But we wanted to have that experience of separateness so we could see ourselves from a different viewpoint, right? But if we miss that opportunity and don't allow a different viewpoint, well, we're duplicating and we are miserable. I mean, everyone is miserable when they repeat the same old fucking patterns, and like, what is, what's the point? Like, and then we feel like we can't break these patterns, but it's just because we haven't really allowed ourselves to be really present with the learning experience behind it, right? So we can then give it back to the source and say, okay, I'm done learning now. Can we have the next experience, please? Right? And it's only when the mind and our emotional attachment to that experience lets ourselves literally be defined by it and make it our story, that's when we create havoc. Because then we identify with it, and it's so hard to let go of it anymore, right? Because it's like, I only know myself like that, right? And it's very narrow-minded, it's limited. Instead of you seeing yourselves as, no, I'm a visitor of that experience through this physical body, through this physical incarnation, but I'm not that experience. Just every single morning, I chose to view life from that angle right now, to give feedback to the source, which I am too, and then it's all good, You don't have to dramatize what's happening, catastrophize, or identify with it, So, whatever problem, obstacle, repetitive pattern you're struggling with, I wanted to share this as a different viewpoint of reality, how reality could potentially work. And let me know how it resonates, If it shifts something, really notice, does that shift something in your human experience when you see reality in that way? When you see yourself in that way? When you see every single day in that way? I would love to know. So please share it with me on Instagram, Magic Kathi Official. If you need a perception shift or would like to explore what different options for your character are out there, obviously my signature session is all about that, helping you to see your highest potential in a way with, exploring the energy that you carry in the gene keys and human design and astrology, the activations, all of the good things, because it's all fun. It's all showing us, okay, this is the energetic spectrum that we are dealing with right here. Yes, you can play in the lower parts if you choose so and if it's fun, but let's just explore how it would feel in the higher parts, when we move from the shadow into the gift into the city, essentially in gene keys, or we move from the lowest expression to a specific placement or activation into the highest expression. So much more fun. So let me know how you feel after this episode. Share it on Instagram, share it with someone who needs a perception shift as well. And yeah, I will be back whenever the energy is moving through me. with whatever needs to be said at that moment. And until then, I really pray for you to step in your magic.